coming up on this episode of Free Lunch.
I give you gifts and then your panties drop off. Like,
wow,
Wow.
that escalated.
Very quickly.
so it's not.
I sought responsibility.
Yeah,
and power just simply followed.
And that's what he was trying to explain to his son. He's like, until you accept.
I love that. I know all too well about the pet child's substitution. This is currently the reason why I have a dog named Chance living in my house.
You're pregnant. Oh, the baby's coming home today.
Bruh. Yo. What's up, y'all? It's your boy Freestyle Gospel, a.k.a. The Real Free, and this is Free Lunch. Got another episode for you and some special guests. Two lovely ladies here. One, of course, which I have known for oh so long, her whole life, because I'm the eldest. But this is my lovely sister. I got my sister Christine here in the building.
Hello. Hello, everyone.
By the way, I'm the only one that actually gets away with calling her Christine, so she'll reintroduce herself some other way. I don't know, whatever she's having people call her these days. In any event, she has her awesome friend of hers with her as well, Brandy. Give it up for Brandy, y'all.
Hey, y'all. How y'all doing?
All right. So I'm going to give the ladies just a quick opportunity to just introduce themselves, how they want or wish to be introduced to the rest of the world. So Christine, as I know her, go ahead and introduce yourself to the lovely people.
Hello, everyone. My brother calls me Christine, but I go by Chrissy or Makita, and that's what you guys are going to get from me today.
Chrissy and Makita. Okay. Brandy?
I actually prefer Lucy, but
Lucy.
Yeah, it's my alter ego.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that seems like totally left field. Like Lucy's a middle name, I'm sure. No, it's not. Alter ego.
My alter ego.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is this a recent alter ego?
No.
A new one?
No, it's been like that since I was in high school. It's actually
Really?
Lucy Lawless.
I love the alliteration.
Yeah. And now
Nice.
that I'm older, it's Lucy Da Vinci for those who are asking.
Lucy Da Vinci. It gets better. Wow.
That's my friend.
Are you interested in adding a third name to this?
Yeah, like when I hit probably 35, I'll change it up,
So, Christine, do you have alter ego names?
I definitely have alter ego names.
But for the audience, Chrissy or Makita is not an alter ego.
No,
those are
are
your
my
actual
actual
names.
names.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So what's the alter ego name?
I have Love.
Love. Yes.
Yes.
That's a fact.
I have Love a Butterfly Leaf, which is my poetry, performance name. I have Nene.
Hey.
Yes, Nene.
Nene.
I don't even have to describe Nene.
What is the majority of your circle of friends or associates call you? No, you ask.
Kia.
Okay. So nobody actually calls you like Love, or do people actually call you by your alter ego name?
Yeah.
People call you Lucy.
Yeah, there are people who actually think my name is really Lucy.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been riding for a
You
while.
would do that to someone? Yeah. No, I'm joking.
No, I do, because I'm like,
Have you told them at least once before that that's not your real name? Or are you just going to let it ride?
It depends on how, much I get to know them. I'm
Okay.
not going to lie. When I first met Christine, she kept calling me Brandy. I was like, how do you know that?
How do you know? Wow. Okay. All right. So what do you... I don't want to, spill this out myself, but... So, Christine, can you just briefly share with the people, what is some of just the awesome things that you do? And then Brandy, I'll have you do or Lucy, I'll have Lucy do the same.
Well, currently, what I'm doing is I'm actually in school. I'm a student esthetician. I'm practicing, working, better with learning skincare. I have a passion for skincare. So, I started my business first, but then there was an influencer or an actress, so to speak, that I guess I went on her social media, and it wasn't really probably me that she was saying something to, but I took it personally because I actually addressed a skin disorder that she has, because I also have it, but it's not really with my skin, it's through hormones. Mm-hmm. And one day I had went on my business page, because I have a business, I think you promoted before, Lovely Leaf Organica, and I'm on Instagram as Lilo Skincare. That's a shameless plug. And I went on Kiki Palmer. Can I say her name, or are you going to edit that? I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. I went on her page, and I was trying to promote, what I do. And then she kind of came up with a different post and was like, some of you up here, I'm a Virgo, like Brandy. She's like, hey, some of you coming up here telling me what I need to use, but then when I go on your page, you don't have any certifications. And I said, oh, time to go to school. Time to go to school.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
So Brandy, what kind of like lane or how have you and Christine like cross paths? Like what?
Okay, so really weird.
What are you doing?
My mom is actually going to school to be an esthetician, so she met Chrissy, and it was her birthday. Was it her birthday that we?
Her fake birthday.
Her fake birthday.
Yes.
So we really wanted to go to Black Swan.
Sounds like something you ladies do. You have fake birthdays.
You want to go to Black Swan
along with month-long birthdays. Totally all like female stuff.
Year for me.
Yeah. Especially when you turn a milestone. A milestone is like, I'm preparing myself for this.
Wow. Okay. So you're aesthetician or like are
So
you
my
into
mom is going to school to be an esthetician, and I'm training under.
like can you like what's the proper way to say that word? Because I feel like I stumble over that word. Esthetician. Esthetician. Esthetician.
Like aesthetics.
Like stitches. Like stitches.
Like aesthetics.
Aesthetics. Esthetician. I'm
I feel like that's close.
I feel like
that's
Yeah.
good enough.
You're in the parking lot of it?
somewhere.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
I feel like that's
Well,
like a thesis between thesis type thing. Don't worry about
Yeah,
it.
potato kind of
Yeah,
thing?
yeah.
Okay, cool. So today I wanted for us to dive in because I know you two ladies happen to be single ladies, right? You're not married, all right, rather. I'm married. This month I'll be celebrating my 5th marriage anniversary.
5th year. Congratulations.
Yes.
Thanks.
Give it up for Mr. and Mrs. Elliott.
Oh, that's amazing.
But I was thinking about earlier this whole like idea of twofold, like two topics that I want to get the perspective of. One, because you guys are part of we're in the same generation as millennials, but because you are singles, me being a married man, if we share the same perspective or have different perspective when it comes to these two topics. So number one is this idea of power or powerlessness. And I've come across this topic or issue of power with my two oldest teenagers. Not so much the oldest one, maybe the middle one, my 15-year-old, but oftentimes as a father, what I hear is this idea of not feeling like they have control. And for any of my teenage listeners out there, or people living still under their parents' roof with rules or things, right? I told them, I feel like there's this issue with my teenagers with trying to show them that the pathway to power or control, but primarily power, I think that's really what they're after, what we're all after in some aspect of our lives. We want to be powerful, right? The direct pathway to that is via responsibility. Now, without going into my kind of headspace or how I'm connecting those two, how I'm having those cross paths, when I just say that power is directly connected to responsibility, does that resonate? Just that phrase alone
100%.
with our view.
100%.
How do you see that there?
So, just from a small standpoint, if you're a king, you have power, but you owe the people, you serve them. Like, you literally serve the people. And if you're not serving the people, you will quickly be dethroned. So that you have the power, but you have responsibility to the people.
Okay.
Excuse me. I 100% agree to that. I also believe when I think of responsibility, I think of discipline. And when
when you think of responsibility, okay,
because in order for you to adequately, be responsible for something, you have to have a certain level of discipline, to be present in that space. So in order for, you to have this level of power, you have to be present. you have to be present for that. So you have to discipline yourself to be present. For me, I'm a busybody. If I don't have the discipline, I'm not going to be able to fully walk in my power the way I want to. So when I think of, responsibility, I think of discipline in that same aspect.
So what I hear you saying is basically being responsible with things like your time.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So it's still responsibility. You could look at it through a lens of
yes.
Mm-hmm.
discipline, but it's just being responsible with, like how we have to be responsible with money.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Responsible with money, responsible with, your time. Okay, so power directly associated with responsibility. The way in which I try to at least relate it to, and I mentor some young people, young adults, high school and college age students as well. So this is just not like an issue that I'm trying to make plain for my children, but those other youth at large. When I'm trying to connect the two for them, really, so that they can see the path in which they can obtain power or feel power, have a sense of power, even when you're growing up in, someone else's home, namely in this case, your parents' home, right? Mm-hmm. So I could feel like I have no power because this is their home. They make all the rules, right? Or even if it's, let's say it's not some teenage kid, right? Let's say it's you or I, and it's your job, right? You're not the owner of that place where you work, right? You have a boss, okay? How do you find power or feel a sense of power in that setting via this idea of responsibility? So in the way in which, at least the easiest to explain for me, for my kids, because, I have this kind of paradigm of, parent versus child, it was easier for me to kind of explain it through that way. It's like when we're going for a ride, right? Now, my kid could say, well, you know what? I want us to drive here. Or if we agree on the where we're going, you know what, Dad, I want you to take this route, right? These are all people in the back seat, though. They're not people in the driver's seat, okay? So they could have these ideas, these opinions, but because I am not entertaining their ideas and opinions, they can feel powerless, right? But here is what responsibility what they may not see right away, have had to take on by me being the one behind the wheel with what they perceive with all the power. Mm-hmm. I've had to make sure there's gas in the car.
Facts.
I've had to make sure that none of the tires are flat. I got to make sure wherever we're going, we get there on time. Now, if anything goes wrong with just those three things I've mentioned, none of those backseat people are getting gas for the vehicle. None of those people would be on the side of the car lifting it up to replace the tire. None of those people would be held accountable or in trouble if we were late getting to where we go. The pilot on an airplane. You might feel being in the airplane as a passenger, you know what? I think we could get to Florida so much faster, Mr. Pilot, if we went this way. And that's probably true. Maybe you're right. Maybe you have a better route than the airline. But if the plane goes down, crashes, the plane meets turbulence in a certain area, no one is going to look at Brandy,
sitting in seat
Chrissy, or myself and say, oh my God, what have you done, right? So yes, the pilot gets to have this power. He gets to decide how we go, where we go. Yes, Dad, while he's driving us here and there, he's getting to determine the route. Oh, it's so unfair. But no, when you realize that all those power plays or people in position of power inherently take on responsibility, then not only is it okay and at peace with you, but then you can take that same principle and now turn it inwards and digest it for yourself to say, where are the places in my life, whether it's home, growing up in my parents' house, whether it's at my job, where can I pursue responsibility first?
That's actually the key.
See, the end goal might be for me to have a greater sense of power, right? Mm-hmm. But you have to understand the beginning of obtaining that power is to first not ask, who could I exercise my power over? Mm-hmm. Who could I have power? What situation can I have power? No, it's where can I take on responsibility? And in that space, power is almost automatic.
No, 100%. I don't know if you've ever watched the series Ragnar. Ragnar Lothbrok, he's a it's like Vikings with.
Oh, I've heard of
yeah,
that. I've
so
heard of that.
one thing he has like all these sons, and he's always basically giving like his little speech or like about what it's gonna be when you come into power, when you get to be a king. And I remember there's a scene where he was saying like, in order to have power, you have to be willing to pick it up, and it's like lowering yourself to. He's like I never went in search for power. I went in search to have better land for my family, for my villages, because I wanted us to be able to eat. And so because I had that felt this responsibility to my family, I felt this responsibility to my village, I felt this to my town.
That's why
they gave me the power because I took on the responsibility.
Yes.
So it's not.
I sought responsibility.
Yeah.
And power just simply followed.
And that's what he was trying to explain to his son. He's like, until you accept responsibility, until you say you serve, responsibility is servitude at the end of the day. And he's like, until you take that on, you won't get power. You will be like you can be. Like a dictator or something like that. And you can instill fear into people based off the fact that you like power from strength or manipulation and stuff like that. But true power comes from taking your own responsibility.
Yo, I feel like I gotta make like that into a T-shirt, or something. Phrase like
it's giving. That's what you need.
Pursue responsibility. And power will follow.
Yeah, facts.
Something like that. I don't know.
Well, I mean, even if you think about Spider-Man, like they try to on multiple levels try to show kids in different ways. But even Spider-Man, one of the most famous quotes is, much power is given, much responsibility is required."
Yeah.
So definitely. You can't run around like, oh, I'm a superhero and do whatever you want and rob banks and stuff, because at the end of the day, like you got that power. Or like you might not, you're like, I don't know how I got this, or you want to say it's God or whatever the case is. Like, but because you have that power, you owe it to the rest of the people who don't have it to ensure that they're good. Like, you are giving that position for a reason. Don't take it lightly. Like,
yeah. I'm gonna have us punching the Free Lunch Podcast plug, but when we come right back, I got a question for the both of you of where in your life do you feel right now the most powerless? Think about it. Hey, yo, if you enjoying this content, if you feel like you're actually getting something from it, be sure to follow Free Lunch everywhere: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at Free Lunch. That's FRII Lunch. And be sure to subscribe. Follow us everywhere podcast streaming is available. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, it doesn't matter. We here. It's Free Lunch with The Real Free. So right now, I'm going to go first. Listen, I think the area of my life, considering all that, if you guys been following my story and my journey, these recent health updates, man, I feel most powerless right now in the area of just my health, because for me, with this whole like blood clot thing just coming out of nowhere, and me not having any underlying health conditions or concerns, really what the surgeons or the doctors really explained to me is that it's my body structure, my anatomy, that has caused this kind of vascular strain or pressure, which is why they want to, go in for a third surgery, next month and try to take out one of my ribs. So I feel like really, really powerless in that area. And I think, as you guys, prepare to share, if at all, what area for you, I think in this regard for me, there are some areas where you can find that no matter how much responsibility you might be willing to take on, some areas you really are just left powerless. And I don't know if that given the right context is necessarily a bad thing, because for me, in just my personal, faith belief system, I believe that that's intentionally and purposely interwoven as a part of my life experience for me to have this degree of like almost humility in trusting God, right? The entity, the Almighty, the Creator, that picks up where I end, You know what I mean? There's only but so much I can do. There's only but so much responsibility I can take. And then in areas like this, it's not like, hey, if you stop eating junk food, Mr. Elliott, you know, you wouldn't have had a blood clot, or you wouldn't have this issue, or if you, exercise more. It's nothing I can really do. So that's for me. That's where I'm feeling is really the issue in the area of my health.
I just want to say I've never really thought about this question until you just posed it to us just now.
It'll take some time. Brandy, is the same for you?
Well, I won't say that I never thought about it, because I do think about it. So I would just go to say, to me, I feel powerless when it comes to my heart. So when it comes to my family, I am the oldest. I take on responsibility because, like I said earlier, my dad has been, he harks on that. If you take on responsibility because you're the oldest, you have the power. But I felt like being a female, I don't get the respect that would be privy to a older male son in my same position that carries the same weight. Like I go out my way for my family on numerous, like on so many levels, to the point where, I put my own life on hold. And just that.
So what's the connection of this with, you said it's the heart area?
So it's like, because I feel powerless to, just say enough is enough.
Because your heart is in the game.
Yeah, I'm consistently being like, okay, you know what? I just need to try harder. I need to take on. I need to do more. I need to do more.
Because you have a heart for these people.
Yeah, and so it's like that part of me that's like, even when it's like, besides my family, like even in relationships, sometimes I know like this relationship is done, but I'm only sticking around or keep on trying to, because I feel the responsibility to you. I care about you. Like, I want you to be happy, and so I will sacrifice my own happiness to make you be happy. And so that consistent, like, sacrifice.
You want to like throw a lasso around that heart and be like, down.
Yeah,
get it together.
Yeah, get it together. Get it together. Get some
self-love.
Yeah. So I feel powerless when it comes to my heart, like literally.
All right. And Chrissy,
so I've been kind of battling in my head, if I should say this.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, I feel powerless sometimes, as a woman, because although I have, although I have great characteristics, and I've been in a few serious relationships. I have yet also been previously married before. I have yet become a mother. And at one point, it was something that I truly, really wanted. And I felt powerless because it's something that I really wanted. And I put in the universe and in the atmosphere, but it wasn't coming to me as I wanted it. Yeah. So it's like I don't have the power to say.
I mean, I get what you're saying. Like, you're like, I had this idea of going, like, having a partner to have a baby with, and like getting that gratitude, and that's why women, they go to sperm banks and they do things like that.
But not only that, it's also like anatomy too. And certain things as well. Yeah. So so I guess I would say I would feel powerless because I can't. Or I couldn't, because now I'm kind of like, if it happens, it happens. It's scarce out here anyway. So, and I don't want to.
Your sense of powerlessness in that area, that hasn't sapped your desire for that, like, because that could happen too to people. Like I feel so powerless that it's just like, whatever. It's just never gonna happen. I guess whatever.
Well, when you become a woman of a certain age, you feel like your time is coming. Okay. The time is ticking. So it's like, I could just sit with like, is it gonna happen? And have that anxiety. Like,
I mean, you could be one of the biblical women.
Yeah, well, listen, for seriously,
90 years old.
I have older sisters. I have older sisters who, one of my sisters, she's never been pregnant until she turned, I think, 40, 41.
Oh, wow.
And had her first baby. So
Really?
yes, and that's on my father's side, you know.
Oh, so that's the thing. That,
yeah,
you know?
and I have a sister. Her
But
last.
but let's say the age thing aside, because that is a real concern. There is a certain age where it becomes more risky.
Yes, yes.
Right. But age aside, just assuming that wasn't an issue. Do you feel because the length of time that's passed, it sapped your desire to some degree?
So it's so funny that you said that because I've been talking to Brandy about a pet.
I know all too well about the pet child substitution. This is currently the reason why I have a dog named Chance living in my house that I'm
so adorable.
plotting on kicking out somehow. I just have to figure it out.
See, so listen. So as a pet parent, you immediately become a parent. You don't have 9 months to wait. You immediately it's you're pregnant. Oh, the baby's coming home today. You know?
Yeah.
So every time I think about that, I go, do you want to be a pet parent right now?
Listen, but I promise you, pet parenting is oh my Lord. I used to hear people say this until I absolutely lived it. People who used to tell me, listen, if you want to know if you're prepared to have another child or have a child, get a pet. Preferably a pet that requires regular, maintenance or care, and it will show you so many layers of yourself that you didn't even know. And when I tell you this dog currently in my home, I am just like, bro, here's my argument though, because my wife will she'll throw shots at me like, see, how you gonna be if we have another baby. And my argument is like, I feel like there's some separation though. It's like,
Okay.
I know in my psyche that this is just an animal. And granted, right? To all the animal lovers,
I was
right?
I'm a pet mom over here.
Yeah. To all the animal lovers out there, I'm not insinuating I'm a animal abuser or neglector in some way. I'm just saying, I don't know. I feel like, when it's the dog whining because the dog needs to be walked or fed off in the distance, it's an entirely different emotion when I know if it's a child, flesh of my flesh, blood of my blood in another room crying because it needs to be fed or taken care of. Like,
That's really different for me.
For me, it's just different. Now, I know there's some really, really super animal lovers that it is like that dog or cat came out of your wound or right from your loin. I'm not there yet, guys. I respect the animals. I love the animals. I appreciate them.
I completely understand what you're saying. So, I wasn't an animal person. Like, if you asked any of my friends growing up, they were like, I'm never going to let you babysit my kids. I'm never going to let you spend time with my dogs. I used to make jokes. I'd be like, if my kid comes out ugly, I'm dropping it off the pound. I was so terrible.
Wow.
I was so against getting married or having kids or anything. And a year ago, at this point now, I got a dog. It's a Yorkie. His name is Billionaire. And I love my baby.
Billionaire.
Yeah.
That's
Little
amazing.
Bills.
Yeah. Mainly because I want to be a billionaire, and I was like,
Fantastic.
Yeah, I am a billionaire.
Essentially, you'll keep speaking it into existence every time you have to call
Yeah.
billionaire.
Yeah. And so, I totally, like I said, I was like, when I grabbed him, because like I said, I really wasn't a pet person. I didn't even pet dogs. I have dogs when I'm like, oh my God, get that thing. Or if someone tried to make me hold a baby, I'd be like, oh my God, it's drooling. Get that thing.
Yeah.
Or
Get that thing. It's spitting on me.
Yeah. I literally
doing that thing.
No,
with
it's literally a picture of me in a chair with a baby, and I put the baby beside me, and I was like, he needs to figure out how to set itself up, and I'm just like that's me with the baby.
See, but see, you mentioned the spitting or drool, right?
Yeah.
That's just one other specific area where difference. I walk in the house, and our pit bull name is Chance. Bless his heart. Shout out to Chance. He wants to run up to me and give me the dog greeting, right? But if I have my really nice pea coat on by Michael Kors, thank you, wife, right? I don't want your slob on my nice pea coat, right? Right now, let's flip gears for a second. Now, if I come in the door and my wife is with our newborn baby, oh, you know what, honey, I gotta get the pot off the stove. Here, quick, take the baby. and I have my Michael Kors coat on, and the baby's like drooling, spitting. Who cares? This is flesh of my flesh. Like, I'm not going to care.
I understand that.
But see, it's just different. That's all I'm saying. It's just different. So in my case, I don't really think it was a fair like barometer or measure of if I'm ready for the new baby, having the dog. For me, it showed me, if anything, where in my day-to-day life and schedule, I'm unorganized. That's what it showed me.
No, definitely. I
can appreciate that.
I appreciate that. But also, for me, okay, like if a baby's crying and I know that I fed him or her, and I know that I've changed their diaper, and they're still doing that crying thing, I'm like, whatever, get over it. But if my baby, like my billionaire, is like literally still crying,
if your dog is still crying,
I'm like, what's going on? I'm really
so concerned.
Yeah, I'm like, what's wrong with him?
Wow.
Like, so
you evil person.
Yeah, I know.
Shamed of you. Shame.
I'm like, let that baby cry. He's gonna have a good singing voice, okay?
Each his own. So, what's the pet you're gonna be getting, Chrissy, to
a pit bull
prepare you for mother?
So, well, it's
Jack Russell Terrier.
I just want to tell you that
I just told you.
Your mother, who said I will be a great mother, she always says that when you become a mother, I know that you're going to be a great mother.
Yes.
But she's the same mother that just told me, don't you dare get that dog.
Don't you dare get what?
The dog. I was telling Mommy that I was going to get the dog. She was like,
did she single-handedly talk you out of it? Or were you already like second-guessing yourself?
I always second guess myself for the dog, but this particular time,
you just needed someone to help you.
No, I was
to one
really,
side or direction or the other.
I literally like Brandy's brother was the connect for the dog, and literally was already done. I'm getting a dog, and then I spoke to Mommy and she gave me the face.
Okay, so why did she give you a reason why she felt like that?
She said that with your life,
yes,
you are barely home.
You're all over the place.
Yes.
For that regard, I would agree. But that's it. So that's an easy fix, though.
That's what I was saying.
That's the good news.
And I think that
you can just decide, because now I have this responsibility, I can't be all over the place because I have to be here. Now, if you were in a certain situation, like, I don't know, you were some military personnel and you're all over the place literally because you have no choice, then no, you shouldn't, because you can't control that. Yeah. But yeah, you can just simply control, hey, I can't just jump in my car now and go drive here, unless I take my dog with me, which is a thing. People do that.
I did that for so much.
Well, you know what? I think all that aside and taken into account, I second that. I think you'd make an awesome mother.
Oh, thank
you.
Find me a father.
It's definitely a difficult task. Parenting is not easy in the least, but I think you'd make an awesome mother. I hope in the areas where both of you have shared that you feel that sense of powerlessness. I hope that it does not sap your motivation, your perseverance, and
actually the exact opposite.
And seeking to become more powerful, feel a sense of power and control in those areas. The heart, absolutely, man, definitely a thing that must be
that was a good one.
Gotten under wraps, and controlled. I think what you shared, Brandy, resonates with many people. Male, female, doesn't matter. Same with me. Even I think for me, like I said, it's a matter of like my faith and my trust in God. I think I'm doing all I can to be cognizant. I mean, I'm like researching blood clotting and things, foods that can help with that, not just taking relying on blood thinner pills and medication, but all of what I can do, because that's where for me I feel like we should all be doing what we can, trusting in God aside, right? Having a faith or a belief in God is not a pass or permission to just be haphazard with your life and be lazy and not take action. Right? I believe faith without works is dead. It doesn't make sense.
Facts.
Right? So with me believing in God and all that, I need to be every day doing all that I know and can do, whether that's research, educating myself, but so that I can help myself.
Accurate.
And then at the end of myself, that's where...
I mean, it's very simple. You just in faith, you have prayer, which is really creating discipline for yourself.
Yeah.
And then also... just going to do worship, that's like putting in the work, you know? So it's like, even though if you're not religious, you know what I'm saying? Like there's things that you can pull away from religion to see like how can I be still a better human? How can I?
There's action to whatever it is that you're gonna just believe.
Yeah, so it's like, because I was telling my friend one time, actually it was crazy. I was telling this. We were talking about, like, getting discipline and like prayer, and I was like, and she was like, oh, I think, people are saying, oh, I'll pray for you, right? She's like, that's freaking stupid. Like, why do they do that? And she's like, well, why are
That's freaking stupid. Wow. Like, that's a bold.
Yeah, and she's like, well, why do those Muslims make time to pray at a certain time?
Yeah.
Like, why do they do that? And I said, you know what?
I'm sorry. That's just, I'm going to be chuckling about that a whole lot more later this evening.
And so I tried to explain to her, I said, you know what? I used to have like a really bad relationship with my dad. Like awful. And I started praying that he would have more patience.
Yeah.
And in turn, I didn't realize that gave me more patience. So I constantly was praying for him to have more patience, but it gave me patience so that, because I knew how much I wanted that relationship with him. So I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna rile him up. Cool. As much as I know that this is a trigger for him, or so because I'm praying for it.
Because you were putting it into the atmosphere, so you knew there was going to be a return, so you were waiting, and turned that waiting.
So that patient. It made me more patient, and so like
almost reminds me of like that law of like sowing and reaping.
Yeah, and that's what
right. The thing I wanted to reap, I first started sewing it, and I became that.
Yeah, and that 100%. And so I tell my dad all the time,
that's
like,
fire.
We have a great relationship because of me, okay?
Not to toot my own
horn. I'm taking credit for this.
Beep.
What's your dad's name, by the way, if you don't mind?
Oh, William.
That's Pops.
Wow.
Pops.
Yep.
I love that.
Yeah.
Does he go by Will or?
Actually, he goes by War.
War.
Because that's our last name. Yeah. We are Wars.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. I feel like I meet people with cooler names. I'm grateful. I have to practice gratitude.
Great.
You see, I have my gratitude rock.
I see it.
There.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yo, that's fire. Yeah, so next, I'm gonna slide right into our next topic. I want you guys, and like I try to do when I introduce a new topic, is I kind of want to start off with the thought I'm having, because it also kind of buys you guys time to think a little bit, but also see if you attest to agree with my train of thought, or if you disagree. I always like to hear a different perspective. But the next thing I want to slide into, as it relates to, again, like I said at the top of the show, you guys being a part of this millennial generation with me, but having the different perspective of being single versus me being married, is this whole idea, wait for it, of love language, right? Now, I know it might seem like a whole entirely different like pendulum slide as it pertains to this whole idea of like power and responsibility, but I think upon a more deeper dive and closer look, you'll actually see this whole idea of power versus responsibility. I think when it comes to relationships, actually slides right into and fits well with this idea of love languages, knowing your love language, knowing your mate's love language. So yeah, we're gonna jump right into that next. Hey, yo, if you're enjoying this content, if you feel like you're actually getting something from it, be sure to follow Free Lunch everywhere: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at Free Lunch. That's FRII Lunch. And be sure to subscribe, follow us everywhere podcast streaming is available: Apple Podcasts, Spotify. It doesn't matter. We here. It's Free Lunch with The Real Free. I think everybody has heard this idea of love languages. I think there's been a book. I think there might have even been a movie. Supposedly there's supposed to be 5 love languages, right?
It's a quiz that you can take.
I think there's supposed to be 5. At least that's the book that I have. And basically, for those who don't know, right, your love language is supposed to be the way in which you identify someone loves you based on something they do. So, for instance, like if your love language is acts of service, this is one of the 5 love languages, right? Mm-hmm. Basically, that means anyone that you are in a relationship with, when they perform acts of service for you, that's how you interpret or receive the message that they love you. You believe they love you more based on how much they perform acts of service for you. Another one is gift giving, right? For some people, their love language is gifts. So if you're in a relationship with someone and they're showering you with gifts, you understand or interpret that as them loving you, okay? So first, I want to start off with your love language, okay? So hopefully, I think Chrissy, Brandy, you guys have heard of this idea of love language, right? Okay, so I'll go first. My love language is, I think, and you're allowed to have more than one. This is totally a thing. My love language is acts of service and I would say physical touch, okay? And I'll stop there. Chrissy.
I think I have 3.
Which is totally cool.
So my love languages, I would say, are words of affirmation. I would say,
I forgot that one.
yep, physical touch and acts of service.
Yes.
But then again, I like receiving gifts too.
So
I think we like all of them.
I feel like
It's
everyone
always
has
the biggest
so
stuff.
I've
Which
done
is in order, like a certain order of how you.
yeah.
So
what's
if you
important.
could only have one, what would be the
Or you could have
most?
the
What's the
top 2 or something.
My
like that.
top,
What's
I
the
believe,
mo-
is acts of service.
Okay.
Okay, so
Brandy.
I've actually done the quiz, so I know my
Okay.
top 2. And they're actually tied. It's acts of service and receiving gifts.
Okay, cool. All right, so we're going to stop there. Now, here's where I want to slightly shift and say, when it has come to doing life or relationship, marriage with my wife, we're always like either evolving or as creatures, I think we're always in this on this journey of self-discovery. Like we're learning new things even about ourselves, right? And I think early on in our marriage, we had, whether it was small conflicts or conversations where there were these kind of gaps in her self-knowledge, like knowledge of herself, where I would feel powerless to fix or help in a certain way in our relationship, whether it's communication, whatever, because she simply did not know when I came to her for information about her to say, hey, give me this information and that will help me do life better with you. Okay. So once we figured out, or for anybody out there in a relationship, once you figure out what is that person's, love language, what are the quirks, things about them, things that make you feel good, whatever it is, right? You now have the option to take responsibility and simply now act upon that knowledge, right? And then that's the way in the pathway to you feeling powerful as that mate, as a person in that relationship. I don't have to go to this relationship feeling powerless when it comes to, wanting to just enjoy happiness with this person because I know them via them first knowing themselves. So share that with me, okay? So what came to me is this idea of love languages and actually interpreting it just like a real language. Except because it's a love language, loving quotes, I think it's important in relationships that once that's discovered for yourself, what your love language is, it's very, very important for you not to allow anyone else outside your relationship to speak that language to you.
Ooh.
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 I'm going to run that back. Digest this slowly with me, guys.
Ooh.
Once you identify one another's love language in a relationship, I believe it is important, crucial, for that language to be like almost like a secret language, like how people have secret handshakes, your best friend, right?
Yeah.
Right? When it comes to love, this is not a language where like, hey, this is our love language. And, oh, you meet somebody else, a coworker at your job, and they're like, oh, I overheard you, speaking that love language. I kind of picked up a little bit. Let me speak some with you. No, absolutely not. You cannot
Immediately
speak.
no.
I can't allow you. I can't allow you to speak this love language when it comes to me, because I know it is almost like a gatekeeper. It's almost like direct access to my heart because it's my love language. So when it comes to me and my wife, for instance, my wife knows that I know it, right? My biggest love language is acts of service in this particular way. This particular service is the way she serves me, the way she cooks for me, right? And it doesn't happen a lot.
Taught by your sister.
It doesn't happen a lot. But occasionally there's some context or scenario where, whether I'm at work or whatever it is, that someone wants to bring me food or cook for me. Or if I'm at an event and they want to make my plate. And if it's a female,
You definitely say.
almost always it's a female who who offer that. In my context, I don't want to, seem sexist in any way. But I either check with my wife to make sure she's okay with that, or she knows that person. Or if it's somebody that we just don't know, maybe we're invited by other friends of ours, and this is somebody that's foreign to both of us, me and my wife. I'll very politely let them know that that's okay. My wife will handle that and get my and mind you, guys, this is not like something where I don't know, like I get it forced my wife into this like life of servitude or something like. My wife enjoys doing this for me because she's aware that's my love language, right? I'd easily get up and make my own plate. I'm not like handicap. I can do that. But my wife knows that's the way she speaks love to me. She reiterates the message, I love you. And she knows because it's my love language, I'm hearing you loud and clear, baby. I hear you, girl. Okay?
You love me.
But this is why I must protect that language, and only you and I can speak that language.
I've never thought about that.
Yes, that was deep.
Yeah, I do. I do understand now some of the issues I've had in some of my relationships. Because again, I love acts of service, and I love gifts. And again, like I told you guys, I'm the oldest, and I have 1,000 things on my plate, like literally at all times. So anytime, like, someone's like, hey, I can handle it for you, I'm like, please take it off my plate. Like, get it out of here. Immediately. And even just like, someone's like, hey, just like I said, gifts. Like, I can go all day and forget to eat, So like, again, someone's like, hey, let me bring you something to eat. I'm quickly like, yeah, let me take something to eat. So I can see.
I can eat.
Yeah, I can eat. You got food? Okay. But I do see now, like, how that can make my partner feel insecure. And I really was kind of like oblivious into it until right now, like really having this conversation. I'm like, oh, wow.
You know what made me think about this being important for many people to hear is because in more than one occasion, I've had, whether it's like a female friend or in some cases, like one of my boys or something, complain to me about the other person or person that they're in a relationship with, let's say, for instance, late night text messaging, right? Like, I just don't know, like, what his problem is. Like, he's texting somebody, and of course, I'm, giving you a dramatic reenactment, right? Not that it necessarily went like this, but the sentiment is like, it's 9 o'clock, it's 10 o'clock at night. Nobody should be texting, his phone. So then what I said well, what is the text message? What is it? I mean, well, it's about business, but still, like, it's okay. So the text message or the context or the content of the text message is actually benign. Like, it's absolutely nothing intimate, right? That's what makes me go, and that's why I believe too, even though the author of this, the book 5, Love Language or whatever, came up with 5, this is why I believe there's more than 5, is
because food isn't one of them.
Because a love language, by definition, just simply means the act or thing via which you perceive someone is giving you love, or someone else So if one of your if one of your love languages with your intimate partner is, let's say, sporadic, acknowledgement of me, or acknowledging me late in the evening, or social
access,
media,
or access. You think that
certain access.
Yeah, like I only
access
have
to
that
me.
access, so it's like, why does that person have that access
Exactly.
to you?
See, so that's what makes something like how I just described. That's why the text messaging late at night bothers you.
Access.
It's because that's your love language, and now you see your partner speaking that language to someone
Yes.
else. But if that partner doesn't know that's your love language, in most times you don't even know that, right? That's why that communication and that self-discovery is so important. And when you get it, sharing it with your partner, no matter how silly it might sound, because this is how I'm letting you know, no matter how silly this looks, this is how I receive love. The message of love is when you speak to me like this. When you're in my DM,
Yeah,
I need you to DM me throughout the day.
yeah. No,
Because when you do it, it makes me feel like you're thinking about me. And then it makes me upset when I look in your phone, or I just see you, maybe I glance over while we're on the couch watching TV and I can see you're DMing other people. Not things that are intimate or whatever. You're just like, what up, we're just chit-chatting, right? I get in my feelings and I don't even know always why, but it's because I want to feel like you're reaching out to me like that.
or at least I have this exclusive access because
Yes,
I'm
yes.
we've chose each other,
Yes.
and so I can definitely understand that.
Absolutely fire. Know your love language. Don't share it with anybody else
No, that's
other than that partner.
that's powerful because
Yeah.
I honestly so what would be your response to you have told someone like you're in a relationship and you feel like you've told them your love language and their response is they feel like your love language might be
Stupid.
yeah, let's go with that, like or like gold digger, or like
That's stupid.
that's stupid. What do you mean receiving gifts? What do you mean acts of service? That's so stupid. What do you mean? That's retarded. That makes no sense. I what do you think? You're some gold digger? You just like I give you gifts and then your panties drop off? Like
Wow.
Wow.
That escalated.
Very quickly.
Okay.
we get it. We
alrighty.
get it.
you know what I mean, right?
Wow. We don't want anybody's draws coming off. Just because of okay. I think
It's getting
if
late.
someone's response is I think if one, let me back up to say I think you're only sharing your love language with a person that you trust or feel at some point in the relationship you can trust them with that, because it is like it's this secret language. You're literally giving them the key to your heart, right? So I think doing your own due diligence to assess the people you're allowing to first enter your life. That's the first layer of first layer of defense, if we want to call it that, to your heart. The second layer is going, okay, I've already assessed you to the degree that makes me feel like, okay, I can have a relationship with you. All right, that's number one. Okay, then there's a second layer of assessment that says, okay, at this stage in our relationship, can I trust you with my love language? Because that's going to take that person being one, mature enough to receive it, hear you, and not say something like that's stupid. It's gonna take a sense of maturity enough to be sensitive to even realize the gravity of what you just shared. This person just gave me the keys to their heart. I need to be sensitive to that, no matter what it is that comes out of their mouth. Okay, I need to be sensitive to that. So if after those two layers, you still didn't hear, so basically what I'm saying is, if you've done your due diligence on those first two layers, I don't think you're gonna hear a response like that. But let's just say, because we're not perfect, someone gets through the cracks.
Yeah.
They get through the two layers, and hey, nonetheless, you find yourself here, and then they hit you with, hey, that's stupid, or that doesn't make sense. I think you got to be confident enough in yourself to look that person back in the face and go, thank you for letting me know that this is where, I guess this is the extent of where our relationship needs to go right now.
It's the end of the road.
This not necessarily even the end, but this is kind of where wherever the
We're at a
degree we're at,
impasse, yeah.
this is kind of, we're like at a pause. Like
Yeah.
this is where we really can't go further in
Exactly.
our relationship until you can, one, hear and accept what it is as my love language. I'm giving you the keys to my, it's going to be very difficult for me to receive this message or even trust or understand that you love me and you genuinely care about me outside of this, what I'm telling you. This is the language. It's literally like you could parallel it to a real language. I won't be able to understand what you're saying unless you speak my language in this area. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, I'm only an English speaker. You determine you're going to keep speaking to me in Spanish because you think English is stupid. Okay, you can have that idea, but just know the whole time you're speaking Spanish, I'm not getting the message. That's the love language.
Yeah, you know what? I think like the way you explained it is perfect because like I've like literally been arguing about the same thing and keep on saying like, you know, I don't feel like this is for us based off the fact that I know I know me, and the more I'm getting to know me more based off of maturity, you know, age, and the fact that I'm consistently seeing things that I don't like. When you consistently know what you don't like, you start to realize what you do like. You're like, I don't like that.
Yeah.
And so now it's like you said, they fall into the cracks. You're in love. You feel powerless to eradicate them at this point because that's what kind of feels like needs to happen. But I want to figure out a way to express myself to this person in a way that to them they're like, oh, you, in their mind they think I'm not mature enough.
Yeah.
Like in their mind they're perceiving my my childish language. And they're like, you need more maturity.
Yeah.
But it's like,
and that's cool. That's cool. I think it's a place where you have to, again, increase your level of self-confidence and self-love and say, you know what? I'm not going to make concessions in this area concerning me. This is the like I shared in another episode, you know, the best thing I could ever do for you is love myself.
100%.
That's a revolutionary idea to a lot of people.
No, I like it.
You know what I mean? So when you're having this conversation with this person, the conversation shouldn't be about trying to win them over and get them to understand and see you and get it your way. Either you get this and you're at a place of receptivity, sensitivity, maturity concerning me, or you know, really wanting to do a relationship with me, to where you receive this as I'm explaining to you, this is my language, or you don't. Because I at least love me enough to keep this. Not negotiate it, not dumb it down, not take it away, not adjust it so it sounds palatable for you.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm more digestible for you.
I feel like I'm constantly doing that.
You can't keep doing that. Because ultimately, it puts you in a place of resentment later. And then now, guess who's to blame when later comes? You.
Yeah, of course.
You are.
And that's exactly what I'm trying to say.
And again, which piggybacks off our first topic. Now, when later comes, and now you feel powerless in your relationship.
Yes.
Who's responsible? It was you now, because you didn't dare to grab the bull by the horn at the onset, take responsibility, and say, "Hey, I will be powerful in this area. I will have a sense of power when it comes to my heart, guarding my heart, entering this relationship, maintaining this love language of mine, giving you that." See, that's the keys to your heart, man.
No,
I think that's like super dope way to end our episode, man.
That was amazing.
I thank you guys so much, Chrissy and Brandy, for joining me on this late night. It's like after midnight right now.
It really
Yeah.
is.
The audience never knows when these go down. I had another group in here. They were like, it was like 2 a.m. These battle rappers that were in here and another former episode. So dope. But before we go, listen, I need you guys to let everyone know where they can just find out more about everything Chrissy, everything Brandy. Where on social media is like the best way for them to find you, guys, Chrissy, go. Where can the people
Yes,
find you?
like I said earlier, my shameless plug, you guys can find me at Lilo, that's Lylo, skincare on Instagram. I'm www.shoplilo.com on my website, and those are mine.
Fire, Brandy.
Okay, so my Instagram is Lucy with 2 eyes, Da Vinci with 2 eyes. Okay, so that's going
Spell that.
That's going to be LuciiDaVicii.
Fire.
And my so I have also a small business.
Yes,
It's
yes.
Snatch and Glow. That's going to be snatch_and/glow, no W.
Yeah, the links, like usual, to their social media where you can find them will be in the description of this episode. So you guys could just click on there and take you right to these beautiful ladies. Again, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
No,
Thank you.
for
Thank you.
having us.
Thank you.
Truly appreciate
Until
it.
next time, y'all, it's free food for your soul. Free lunch with the real free.